And help us get some checks. He can help us about transition. You gotta for the area. You gotta work good. And oh yeah, I guess we're here.
Good evening. Welcome to False Spring, or maybe it's the start of real spring. I don't know. If you really believe it, go plant your garden tonight, and we'll find out if it's so. Again, welcome this evening. A great day. We're going to start this evening with the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag, led by Councilmember Dave Covington, followed by Judy Garrett leading us in the Texas Pledge, and then Craig Pearson will lead us in our invocation. If you will rise.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Join me in prayer, please. Father God, we humbly come to you with great thanksgiving for this beautiful day, for the opportunity to live in this city. And Father, we come to you asking that your presence is with us, that you will lead, guide, and direct us, that all that we think and say and do will be pleasing to you, and that this will serve your purpose and bring you honor and glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. Be seated. We will now call this meeting Tuesday, February 25th, 5:32 to order. The first item on the agenda are public comments. For those who have wished to address the council and the city, they may do so at this time. I have one person that signed up, but it's for an agenda item. This is a comment for non-agenda items. So if anyone would like to speak their piece, they've got 3 minutes. We'll open the floor for public comments. There being no public comments, we'll close public comments and we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is our German exchange students. Wie geht's? Geht's gut, sehr gut. All right, I've got a proclamation here. I think it's in English. It doesn't sound like English, but I think it is. Here, I've got the right one. I'll read it from up here and then give that. So again, whereabout in Germany are you guys from? Okay, Leipzig. Okay, so good. All right, here we go. Whereas 6 University of Meyerhard Baylor students, Eva, Macy, Lillian, Alyssa, and Ashley, laid out their passports in November, said goodbye to their roommates, and made the transatlantic flight to Leipzig, Germany. And whereas 6 students and educators from Johanniter Academy, hopefully I got that right, a school in Leipzig, chose UMHB and its students as partner beneficiaries to a grant that funds short-term student exchange trips to and from Germany. And whereas the students experienced life in a bustling European city of 750,000 people, one that boasts a 615-year history, our UMHB students saw and did it all. From living in a German apartment, eating traditional German food, traveling by bicycle, tram, bus, and walking, lots and lots of walking. And whereas the UMHB students who are majoring in servant-driven fields of nursing, social work, and education, spent time learning about the German education system and observing the work by nonprofits dedicating to serving their special needs population, and they returned to Belton viewing life through new lenses. And whereas we extend a friendly Texas welcome to our German exchange students, Constanza, Greta, Oliver, Darius, Dominic, and Alessio, who have been immersed in Texas culture for the past week. And whereas, although they may have different cultures, speak different languages, and hold different experiences as UMHB social work students, Macy said, we come from totally different backgrounds, but we have so much in common. Now, therefore, I, David Lee, Mayor of the City of Belton, do hereby proclaim February 25th, 2025 as Exchange Student Day. Congratulations. So you being here with us for the last week or so, you've gotten all the weather we have, all in a week.
Mayor, you want to come down?
I will. Just gonna sign this.
Y'all do that, and y'all do-
Yeah, that's right. Definitely. Yeah.
Mayor, good issue.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, ready? Please, everybody, a big smile, going back to Germany. I'm wondering.
Americans.
Thank you.
Here's- here's- All right. They left in time for me to say I took German in high school, in college. It's the only class I had to take twice. But I didn't quite get it the first time. I don't know that I got it the second time, but they had mercy on me, so I passed. So our next item is a proclamation for theater in our schools month, March 2025. We have members of our Belton High School's theater troupe present, and so I'm going to do the same. It's the same language as the last one, so it takes a little bit getting used to. If you grew up reading the King James Bible, it probably sounds a lot more familiar. All right. Whereas access to theater education in our schools has been proven to provide so many benefits, such as higher levels of empathy, emotional regulation, decision-making, and positive self-image. And whereas theater education has been linked to higher levels of academic achievement, improved standard test scores, reductions of school dropout rates, improved attendance, and higher SAT scores. And whereas educators, administrators, and parents across the state work tirelessly to ensure that theater arts remain an integral part of a well-rounded education, enriching the academic and social experience of Belton students. And whereas the city of Belton recognizes the importance of the dedicated theater educators, students, and community members who contribute to the vibrant cultural fabric of our schools and society through their passion for the performing arts. Now, therefore, I, David Lee, by virtue of the power authority vested in me, as mayor of the city of Belton, do hereby declare the month of March 2025 as Theater in Our Schools Month in the city of Belton. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Speech.
Something prepared. Okay. Hello, my name is Anais Lopez Rodriguez, and you may be wondering why I'm wearing a big fancy sash. Well, it's because I am one of 12 student ambassadors in the state of Texas for Texas Thespians, which is basically an advocacy program that advocates for theater education and fine arts funding. And we also seek to unite the community and promote theater arts through an educational and professional network. With this proclamation, it's only the first step to highlight the impact theater education has on not only theater students, but schools as a whole. Students involved in theater are more focused and driven in the classroom as they are outside the classroom. I, for one, have been immensely impacted by theater. I'm proud to say that I will be attending Brown University, in Rhode Island, and theater has helped me believe in myself and really has helped me achieve that goal because I would have never put myself out there if it wasn't for theater. And so for the whole month of March, Theater in Our Schools Month will help advocate and really show how theater helps students become involved in their passions. Theater education can make an impact on anyone, no matter if they have theater experience or not. It can teach them important problem-solving skills, as well as create a sense of place for them to truly grow into their full potential. It gives students a safe place to truly shine and get out of their comfort zone. I'm one of many people that theater has impacted. So with this, I hope to further build the foundation with my fellow theater people. It is an honor to be laying out the groundwork for something so powerful, and joining theater has been the best decision I have ever made. Thank you so much for supporting the arts.
Congratulations. If memory serves me well, Brown is one of the 8 Ivy League schools. So congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Every time I do this, I think about the YouTube video of the defendant that jumps across at the judge, and just dives across. It's like, that'd be so much quicker. So anyway, so anytime you see me have to do that, you can think of that too. So, all right, now on to the meat of the schedule, our consent agenda. The items 4 through 9 here are going to can be enacted by a single motion by the council, unless someone wishes to remove them. I think there's one item that we will likely remove, but I'm going to read them and then we will consider action. Item 4 is approving the minutes of the February 11th council meeting. Item 5 is a resolution appointing election officers for the May 3rd general and special election. Item 6 is adopting a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute an amended municipal maintenance agreement with the Texas Department of Transportation. Item 7 is adopting a final plat for Wheat Warehouse Addition comprising 3.692 acres located on, surprise, Wheat Road. Item 8 is receive tax increment reinvestment zone annual report for 2024. And then item 9 is designated a depository for city funds for the 3-year period from April 1, 2025 to March 31, 2028, with a provision for an extension of 2 additional 1-year terms, and authorize the city manager to execute all initial contracts and agreements related to this designation. The chair would entertain comments and motion.
Mayor, I'd like to remove item 9 from the consent agenda, please.
I move we approve items 4 through 8.
Second.
We have a motion to approve items 4 through 8 as presented. All of those, please let it be known by approved by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Passes unanimously. Item 9, I've already read it. So, Mr. Rogers.
Mayor and council, state law limits the maximum term of a depository contract to 5 years. And the last one we did was in 2020. So here we are today. So we did a request for applications for the qualified institutions in our city limits. There's 3 of those: Cadence Bank, Extraco Banks, and PNC Bank. Only 2 of those responded to our request for applications, and that was Cadence and Extraco. So my team in finance evaluated the 2 institutions based upon their ability to perform, the cost of services, completeness of the application, financial strength, stability, and references. Either one of those 2 banks would be a fine depository, but Extraco scored the highest in our evaluation. They've offered the highest interest rate, current highest interest rate on our deposits, and they've agreed to waive all of our banking fees for the length of this term. Staff recommends Extraco Banks as our city depository for the next 3 years with 2 additional 1-year extensions.
All right. So we have item on the agenda to adopt this. Any comments or questions from the council?
Mike, thank you. I had it pulled just because I wanted us to clearly demonstrate just how transparent and how detailed the process is in handling all of the money. It's not that I have any questions about it. You've clearly come to the right decision, and that said, I move that we approve the item as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve item 9 with the contract for Extraco for the 3-year period with 2 1-year extensions. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes unanimously.
Thank
Item 10, hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from retail to retail with a specific use permit for a package store on 0.11 acres located at 2144 North Main Street. Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna have to sit a little closer next time. Huh?
We're all getting our steps in.
Yes, sir. All right, for this store, will be located at 2144 North Main Street. It is currently where the Walker Furniture Store is. The applicant is proposing to move in there when that store vacates. This property is currently zoned retail and it's in a major shopping plaza with different tenants in there. What's proposed for moving into here is Longhorn Liquor Store. There might be some interior improvements needed for the building, but right now it meets all of the site requirements. There's extra parking, there's lighting at the site, and there are no mitigation that is necessary for this to move in. Notices were sent out to property owners within 200 feet of the property, and we received 1 letter of support for the property owner. Other than that, it meets all of the requirements for our zoning standards, and the applicant is here should you have any questions for them to be able to answer. And the Planning and Zoning Commission, sorry, getting ahead of myself. This is in our future land use map as a commercial retail area, and the proposed complies with our flume. Our Planning and Zoning Commission approved of this request at their meeting on February 18th, and staff concurs with their recommendation. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have, and the applicant, as mentioned, is here should you have any questions for them as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Tina. This being a public hearing, we'll close deliberations amongst the council and open the floor for any comments. If anyone wishes to speak for or against this item, they have 3 minutes to do so, including the owner if they wish to speak. No one's compelled to have to, but you can. So if anyone has any comments about this item, now's your time. Yes, sir.
Please state your name.
My name's Dennis Williams.
And your address.
With Longhorn Liquor. If y'all have any questions, I'll be glad to give y'all a brief history or answer questions or anything that y'all might not have in your package if you would want the information on. So our corporate office is in Beaumont, Texas. We've been in business for almost 13 years, and we service all the way from, if you know where Lake Sam Rayburn's at, up in Jasper, all the way down through East Texas, through Houston, and Katy is our furthest location now. So we employ around 50 people, and 0 TABC violations. We play by the book and work with law enforcement really well. We've been work with TABC in the cop and shop type deals and stuff like that. So it's me and my son own the company, and so if y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Anyone else wishes to speak for or against this item? All right. There being no other discussion from the floor, we'll close the floor and reconvene with the council. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or the chair would entertain a motion?
I move we approve item Z2502 as presented.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the zoning change for the specific use permit. Any comments or questions before we vote? All right. All in favor of this item, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. Passes unanimously. Welcome to town. So looking forward to it. It used to be a VHS rental place. Take One Video. And I was trying to think, what was it before Take One? I don't know.
It's before my time. I should know.
Yeah. Yeah, we should know. Used to be Pizza Inn next to it. And it was TG&Y all the way down at the end, which then became the Walmart, you know. Anyway, sorry, trip down memory lane. Some of us remember all the way back. All right. Item 11 is hold a public hearing and consider an appeal from AB King LLC regarding a zoning change from commercial highway to commercial highway with an SUP for a package store on approximately 0.13 acres located at 824 South Main Street. Ms. Moore.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mouthful to say. This
Yeah.
property is located on South Main Street, and Avenue J is right across the street or just north of the Family Dollar store that's on Main Street. There are two existing buildings, and I'm gonna go back to the plan so you guys can see. The front part used to be an office space. It's about 1,500 square feet. The back part is a warehouse that's about 2,500 square feet on the property. There's 6 parking spaces in the front. Surrounding zoning for that is mostly commercial highway, retail type zonings. In the back off of Pearl Streets, there are residential houses in that area. The planning and zoning had listened to this at the February 18 meeting and had recommended disapproval because of lack of parking, exterior lighting, and they had some general concerns about the overall location. Since then, the applicant has submitted in this rendition of what he is proposing to do at the site. That includes making some exterior changes to the building, some additional parking spaces by the location in the back and goodness gracious, I keep thinking I've hit the right thing and it's not that. Here's additional parking spaces by the warehouse that he is proposing for the appeal of that. With that, it meets our bloom requirements as it's already in a commercial location. Notices were sent out to adjacent neighbors. There were 2 letters of opposition from the same property owners that owned one adjacent property for this. With that, again, planning and zoning recommended disapproval of this, so therefore to recommend an approval, it requires a supermajority vote from the council, meaning all 6 members on the board right now would need to recommend approval for that. Staff again had concerns because of lack of parking and would recommend, should you approve it, that additional parking spaces as provided will be required. Not just for the package store, but also for the vacant warehouse space. Whenever there's a tenant that goes in there, there's additional parking requirements for that as well. Shared parking within 300 feet of the property is another consideration. If they're able to work out an agreement with an adjacent property owner, that would be an acceptable way of reducing parking. And also, if any kind of future improvements on the site, we'll need to make sure that it meets city ordinances. With that, the applicant is here. Mr. Patel, should you have any questions for him as well? And I think he would like to make a
Well,
presentation.
we'll wait for the public. We're still, yeah, you just sit right there. It'll just take a second. You don't have to go all the way back. You just sit right there. Once we all open the public comments, you can comment.
That will be all I have to say, sir.
All right. All right. Thank you, Tina. All right. This being a public hearing, we will close deliberations and open the floor for comments from the owner, anyone else who wishes to speak for or against this item. And we have, I think, at least one who has signed up. Others can. Again, the owner and all the others, we limit to 3 minutes. And so just letting you know, I don't know who's our timer. So I think Dave was quick on the draw. So Dave has a timer. All right. So so now we will open so if anyone who wishes to speak for or against this item may do so. I see the owner is ready to go. So if you don't mind, name and address for the record, and then we'll start the timer.
Sunil Adhikari. My address is 4321 Charbrook Drive, Belton, Texas 76513. Thank you, Mayor. I'm a local resident and a disabled veteran. I have multiple small business in the town too. So I thought that was a good location for like a liquor shop. And we are ready to accommodate everything, and for the security and safety of the neighbors too. We're planning to put fence on the side, and we were planning to do like remodel everything according to the city standards and make our neighbors safe and everything. I think it's going to be a good business location, good for city. We're going to bring some employment, some taxes, and it's going to grow the area. Any questions and concerns, I'm here to answer.
All right, thank you very much. All right, anyone else? The next one I have listed, Allison Finney. Again, we have your name. You can sit down, and then we'll call you back up if we need to. All right. Name and address for the record and 3 minutes.
Allison Finney, 820 South Main Street in Belton. I have many concerns with this. Of course, the parking spaces are issues. There's going to be increased traffic and safety risks with that being next door to us. We do have one big, huge parking lot right now. And as you can see in one of the pictures, it showed a fence going down the parking lot area, separating us. There's about 16 feet between our two buildings. 12 feet of that is mine, 4 feet is theirs. And with that fence going down, I think some of you are probably familiar with the fence that goes down I think it's a Valero station maybe on Main Street across from First Baptist Church. That's a real eyesore. I think it's really ugly. But it also causes a hazard for my customers coming out of the parking lot. It can cause hazard for my employees or myself coming out of the parking lot. Also, deliveries and things like that. If it's a big truck, it's probably going to have to take up part of my parking lot. That's going to cost me money to have to start repairing my parking lot because heavy vehicles are on it. I have reputation concerns. Just the fact we've been in that location for 35 years. And I do have concerns having a liquor store next door to my insurance office. There's a higher risk of crime with the liquor store next door to me. And that will have an impact on the insurance costs of my building and the insurance cost of my business as an insurance agent. In the future, it could have an impact on rental value if I ever decide to move somewhere and rent out that property, or if I decided to sell it, there could be problems with the liquor store being there. I do just want to say that, you know, it's already been approved for 3 new liquor stores in Belton. 2 of them are within 1.5 miles of the proposed 824 South Main Street. And the other one that just was approved is about 2 miles from that location. Do we really need a 4th one right there? I don't think we need a 4th one right there in the middle of town. Lastly, my agent has 4 hometown people in it. All 4 are Belton High School graduates. All of our children have graduated from BISD or will graduate in the next couple of years. And I have a grandchild, 3rd generation, that will start BISD in the fall. We are hometown supporters of our community. So I'm asking you, the members of the council, to support us in voting against the liquor store going in next door to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. Anyone else wish to speak in favor or against this item? Right. There being no other speakers, we will close the floor and reconvene to consider the appeal from A.B. King regarding the zoning change. Any comments, questions, or motion?
I'll kick it off. For me, it's kind of the reasons listed, parking, those kind of things are not really the concern, you know, balancing private property rights. But for me personally, just to the rest of you guys, is I don't see enough of a buffer here between probably our most restrictive use, you would say, and housing right behind it. So those are my comments.
I think it meets a lot of the qualifications for opening a liquor store, but it doesn't quite check all the boxes. I don't intend to vote against what P&Z's recommendation is.
That being said, with supermajority required, I'll make a motion we don't approve. Disapprove this item as presented.
We have a motion and a second to disapprove the appeal. This being a disapproval of appeal, I believe that means that it's with prejudice, so they cannot bring this forward back to P&Z at a future time. Is that? I think that's correct.
6 months.
6 months. Okay. For this location, it doesn't mean that they can't have another location, just this location. This is a location specific request, not a business specific request.
prejudice that he's part of.
I will amend my motion to disapprove this item as presented with prejudice.
Second.
A motion and a second to disapprove with prejudice. I think basically what we're saying is in zoning, we want to have highest and best use. And a lot of times best use is contributing properties around it if they approve or disapprove. And so usually the people that own properties near it are usually good judges of what the best use. And so when we have that, and I'm sure that weighed in with the planning and zoning. And also for us, we delegate a lot of authority to planning and zoning, and we support them. And so when they disapprove something, it usually has to be pretty compelling. So again, thank you for your interest in Belton. I'm sorry that this, at least at this point, is being disapproved. All in favor? Any other comments? Okay. All in favor of the disapproval, say aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, it passes unanimously. So, all right, sorry that the appeal didn't happen. All right, item 12, hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from agricultural to commercial 2 on approximately 6.53 acres located at 6955 West US Highway 190 and 6749 Dog Ridge Road. Ms. Tina.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. The applicant is hoping to construct a wholesale electrical supply warehouse at this location. There's currently an existing single-family detached home on the site that will be demolished to provide land for the proposed warehouse location. There are adjacent residential property in the Tanglewood subdivision, so there will be a requirement for fencing for the separate uses. This is in a commercial corridor next to a lifestyle center. Property owners in the area have been notified. There has not been any letters of support or opposition for this zoning change. The planning and zoning heard this at their meeting on the 18th and recommended approval for this item. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you guys have, and the applicant is also here should you have any questions for him as well.
All right, again, this being a public hearing, we will close the deliberations of the council and open the floor for anyone who wishes to speak in favor or against this item. So I guess the owner or the applicant, a name and address for the record in 3 minutes.
Yes, sir. I'm Gene Benner. Address is Round Rock, Texas, where I currently reside, but 6955 190 is the address of the proposed location. I'm the president of Lone Star Electric Supply based out of Austin, Texas, and this will be an expansion, a business for us, expansion location for us that would be here locally to serve the Bell County area, selling electrical supplies to all the local contractors, and then the influx of contractors that are coming from other locations with the massive growth that we see coming to this area. Currently, we've got a 100,000 square foot building, 110 employees. We do $150 million a year in the Austin location now, and I'm running trucks every single day up to this area. We were pivotal with the TTX Meta project up there, and we've got great relationships with the local contractors here, and we just look forward to growing and being part of this community. So welcome to answer any questions you have about us.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak in favor or against this item? All right, there being no other comments from the floor, we'll close the floor and open the council deliberations. Any comments, questions, or the chair would entertain a motion?
I move we approve item number 12 as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the zoning change from agriculture to commercial 2. Any other comments or questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes unanimously. Welcome to town. Maybe you'll want to move your residence up a little closer. So you don't have to drive back and forth. Maybe it'll be 200,000 square feet, $500 million worth of business in Bell County. Maybe not. Thank you. I will say the reverse commute is a heck of a lot better than the other way. So, yeah. All right. Item 13, Lucky 13, hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from ag to retail with an SUP for an office showroom on approximately 3.37 acres located at 1918 Auction Barn Road. Ms. Tina.
And thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you can see, this property is one of the last ones in the city of Belton limits before it goes into the ETJ area off of Auction Barn. This property also, the property owner also owns the house that is on the west side. There is a future subdivision plat to subdivide the commercial property from the residential property. This area is amongst a transition area where the Justice Center is, or across the street is where the Diversion Center is. There are other businesses nearby that area as well. The existing home again will remain, however, the applicant will subdivide that into 2 different lots. And here is a proposed site plan of what is being proposed. Auction Barn Road is on the south side. Entrance will come in from Auction Barn Road. Here is the proposed office building. It's 3,600 square feet. Of that, 1,600 would be for the office and 2,000 square feet would be for the warehouse. Sorry. There is a future addition proposed in the rear of the property of 5,000 square feet, future addition. There's adequate parking right now. There's currently 7 spaces that's required, and that's what is shown. The applicant will also landscape and will also be a 6-foot privacy fence for the areas adjacent to residential uses. For the SUP criteria, the surrounding properties, again, this is a transition in area. There are businesses over here and the hours of operations are standard office time from 8 to 5 p.m. The purpose of the activity seems to match with everything that is currently happening over here. Again, this is for where customers will come in to customize their new build construction. Also some storage area that's in the warehouse spaces. Reasonableness of use is just seen to be compatible with the existing uses, and there's no mitigation other than the requirement for fencing adjacent to the residential properties. With that, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval at their February 18th meeting, and staff concurs with that recommendation. Should you have any questions, the applicant is here and can address that as well. Thank you.
All right. This is one of those page turns, so half of it's on one page. So this being a public hearing, we will close the deliberations, open the floor. If anyone wishes to speak for or against this item, now it's your turn. All right. Your practice at it. You know how it's done.
Yeah, I've been heard, you know. Jeff Lackmeyer, 1201 South W.S. Young, Clean, Texas. I'm the applicant. I think we'll be good neighbors to the community. We're obviously a small business owner and we're looking to grow. We think that corridor is where we need to be and trying to get out of clean to do that, to kind of be progressive with that growth. So I think we'll be excited to be a part of this community. So
awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak for or against this item? There being no other public comments, we'll close the floor and reconvene the council.
Tina, I've got a question. It looks like, I just want to be clear about what we're rezoning. Is it the entire 3.3 acres or is it a portion of that?
It is a portion of that. I believe they own the residential. We're only reducing it by the residential property on that. So
the residential will still be ag?
Still be ag, yes, sir.
Okay.
And the site plan will be attached to that. So we have that location and measurement to the ordinance.
So it's less than 3.37 acres that are actually being rezoned, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Probably more likely to. Applicant is nodding 2 acres. So with that amendment.
About 2 acres. Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item 13, noting that it's approximately 2 acres according to the site plan in the packet.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the zoning change of 2 of the acres, roughly 2 of the acres where the business is located. Any other comments? I'll just make one comment. It would probably be good if we're going to split a property and one's going to be residential use, one's going to be business use, is bring them both. So that way we can, instead of just having one hanging on as a non-conforming use like ag, is since it's, you know, we usually do that with development agreements. If somebody wants to peel off, they'll anyway. So some things. So anyway, just comment. I think now is all right. Any other comments? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Passes unanimously. Again, welcome to town. Little better side of Bell County. You know, we're just, you know,
we are prejudiced, I admit.
If you don't have a mayor proud of his town, you got the wrong mayor.
Right. Amen, brother.
And if you got a politician that doesn't irritate somebody, then he's not much of a politician. You got to irritate at least somebody. So anyway, but good nature, right? We're not going after the jugular.
Check out the Cleveland Daily Herald.
Oh, all right. All right, moving on. Item 14, hold a public hearing and consider a zoning change from ag to commercial highway on approximately 2.62 acres located at 10780 South I-35. Ms.
All
Tina.
right, we're going to the other end of town. This is the southern boundary of Belton limits. The applicant is proposing emergency room, a standalone emergency room, and a medical office building. This will be serviced by the Salado Water CCN and also by Pampas Investment Group Wastewater Services. A subdivision plan and construction plans are in for review with staff at the moment. The proposed use is permitted in commercial highway district as by right. The Flume sees this as a commercial corridor. The proposed use is supported by the Flume. Notices were sent out to property owners within 200 feet. We received no letters of support or objections for the proposed zoning change. With that, the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of this item at their meeting on the 18th, and staff concurs with that recommendation, and I will be happy to answer questions that you guys have, and the applicant representative is here should you have any questions for them as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tina. Again, being a public hearing, we will close deliberations and open the floor if anyone wishes to speak in favor or against this item. There being no one rushing to the podium, we will close the public hearing and reconvene the council deliberations.
This proposed item is on the swap land with the city of Belton and Salado. And so I just wanted to really thank city manager. I think the mayor had a little involvement in that and but worked out really well.
Yep.
But an adjusted line to our city limit, and glad that this is going in.
Yeah, it's there are a lot of people confused that live in West Temple and have a 76513, which is a Belton zip code, and they're Belton schools, but City of Temple, and they're just confused. You're going to have a building that's in the city of Belton. You're going to drive on a Salado road. It's going to be that close.
And it has a Salado postal code.
Anyway, but it's great to see the community growing together. I mean, truly is growing together. So thank you. All right.
I move we approve agenda item 14 is presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve agenda item 14. Any other comments? Yes.
Tina, we got a copy of an email in our packet about the front yard facing 35 and the side yard facing Salado Center Drive. There's no issues with that.
No issues. The front yard has to meet a 60-foot setback requirement. They've met that on the site plan that we're reviewing. And the Salado Center side, it only has to meet a 20-foot setback. So they're good with both setbacks.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Excellent.
All right. Any other comments or questions? All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. Passes unanimously. And again, welcome to town.
Hey, Tina, your PowerPoints look great, by the way.
Awesome. All right. Now we get into the nitty gritty. We get to know what people been doing for the last year. So we're going to receive a presentation on the Belton Police Department 2024 annual report and racial profiling report. Thanks everyone for coming. Feel like I'm at a church meeting. Pass the offering. Yeah, that's right.
Mayor, Council, I just want to thank you for the opportunity. It's hard to believe it's been almost a year and a couple of weeks since I was sworn as chief of police, and it's been a whirlwind year. First, I'd like to acknowledge the fact that we've got some of the command staff here. You got Deputy Chief Daniel Aguirre, Captain Richard Spurgeon, and Captain Daniel Oliveros. And it's a really well-greased wheel that runs the police department. These guys are just amazing. And I think that, through the customer service presentations, a lot of time spent at the police department, we really do focus on that. So, I'm required by legislation to report the racial profiling, the annual report. So we'll get started with that. When Gene Ellis left, not much changed as far as the mission. We did go back and we looked at our strategic plan. We looked at our policies. We really made an effort to fine tune the policies and the strategic plan for what we saw the vision was going forward. A lot of it has stayed the same. I think we've really this year emphasized a lot on partnerships. We've got a really good rapport with BISD. We've built a really strong relationship with media. We've given some tours of the police department to media. We've helped, pitch some stories to them and stuff, some really good things, because there's enough negativity in the world that I think that they need to know some of the good stuff that's going on, which we'll be covering. And then some of the activities that we've been involved in. The bottom left is an interesting picture, because that one there, we've actually a lot of time, Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts come over and do tours of the police department a lot. So we've really been working with partnerships with Boy Scouts. We've also increased or aligned our Explorer program with the Boy Scouts of America. And they're going to be more of an organized functional post, so that they can get into competitions. Because what was happening when we were planning competitions with local law enforcement agencies, and people were just pulling out, it was really fractured and splintered. So we see the benefit in joining with them, so we can travel a little bit farther, but we can actually go to actual opportunities and competitions. Our core values haven't changed. When I go back, you look at the compliments and kudos. Anytime that I get a compliment from a citizen, I try to send that out to city management. A lot of them they end up in your emails as well. I've received some kudos from you all. Our guys are professional. It's not every community where you can go out there and write a citation and actually have people thank you for with the professionalism, the way you've handled it. So we even get compliments when we give citations. We try to educate the public, and through citations or warnings, and you'll see our warnings are a little bit higher. I mentioned that we went through our policies. We really reviewed our policies, but we focused a lot on strategic plan too. A lot of our strategic plan just goes right along in line with the public safety aspects of the city's strategic plan. But some of the things we're looking at is, we're going with the niche. It's going to connect the RMS and the CAD system is going to connect the county. So even Coppers Cove, the people that are committing crimes in different locations are going to be known to us. We'll be able to share more information, more of a unified type law enforcement approach. We're going to work on Kiddo. It's called the Kiddo card program, where we actually will have like little ID cards for kids. They'll put little thumbprint pictures, some personal ID. It'll give us a chance to build connections with kids, but also it gives parents peace of mind knowing that, they've got some data on file. Work on tabletop exercises. One of the big things, there's a state mandated push to get alert training done before 2027. Most of our folks have completed that. We're going to go ahead, we're going to share that up and get that done. It's it's active law enforcement rapid response to training. And what that is basically is, after Uvalde, we saw a big push for the alert, because it's how to respond to the shooting incidents and do it to neutralize the threat as quickly as possible. We're looking at expanding the SWAT capabilities, partnering with the FBI possibly, or one of the federal agencies with the TFO program, which is a task force officer. What that does is gives us a force multiplier, gives us some of their resources in our own backyard. And in Temple, it's been very successful, because any connection to violent crimes, guns, things like that, they can actually take that federal or state, and there's a lot more bang for the buck. One of the other things we're working on is a transition to Red Dot. We've already got our firearms instructors and our SROs on the Red Dot platform, and we're working on getting the rest of them on the Red Dot platform. What that will do is create a better sight system for the officers. I've tried it, and it really does. It improves your confidence and your accuracy with the firearms. And then focus code compliance in the high crime areas. As you can see, we talked a little bit about traffic safety, but there was 9,776 traffic stops. 70% of those are warnings. We try to keep that right there. We still get the point across. We still light it up, and we're trying to reduce the number of accidents we have by using the traffic enforcement. If you'll notice the 3 fatalities, there's an asterisk next to that. DPS assists on the interstates 14 and 35. So if we assist with that, it's actually included in that counts. And that was one of those. And then some of the 1788 responses with some of the DPS assists. So we'll go out there and assist them, as well as the fire department, help work those accidents. A little bit about the budget. Y'all are quite aware with where our budget's at. We do appreciate the fact that y'all are so supportive. The community is supportive. Nobody has ever really hampered anything that we need. And we also look for a lot of grant funding. We sit down this year, we actually sat down, we kind of pre-planned, say, hey, a grant season's coming. What are some things that we really want to propel us to the next level? So we've been addressing that through grants. We've also, and this is a good time to go ahead and mention our Belton Police Foundation. We've got a good group of volunteers that come in. They've got a strong foundation, and they're actually going to help us get across the finish line with some of the red dots transition by purchasing some holsters and flashlights. So it's a good group of people that really, they help out. Anything that falls within the budget year that we didn't actually plan for, like the Boy Scouts of America transition, we asked them and they were able to go ahead and help us with that sponsorship really quickly. Calls for service. I think you've heard probably Gene talk about it for years, and I've talked about number one problem in the city is going to be traffic. So we try to, make traffic stops a priority. Our response times have pretty much stayed consistently between that 4 and 5 minute mark. It's a little bit lower this time, which was good. But 4.5 minutes for priority 1 call. And my thought process between priority 1 and priority 2 is they're gathering a little more information because it's usually a major crime. They're asking more questions about weapons and things like that. So there's a little bit of a delay there, but it's all, as you can see, it's only 0.4 seconds. Calls for service in 2024 was 34,964, slight increase. I think that's just because we have growth. 0.3% arrests down, 0.37% part 1 index crimes were up. What we pride ourselves on is that 13% burglaries. If y'all remember, we had a real big problem with burglaries there for a while, the Kia challenge, and people were burglarizing cars and stealing cars. We got that down. Traffic stops are up. One of the things I need to point out is the sexual assaults. We've noticed that there's a trend, an upward trend there. There's 42 sexual assaults reported. Some of the reasons behind that could very well be that we're seeing more people reporting it. It's becoming more common for people to report it, but also half of those came from two locations in our city that are behavioral and mental health facilities. And if things are working well in that, they should be able to draw that information out when people were victimized and get those reports. We've also been meeting with staff at those locations, and we're going to continue to work with them on working on policies. And if it is just the people being victimized reporting the things that happened to them, that's a good thing. If it has something to do with patient on patient, we just need to continue to work on policies and procedures and help navigate those waters. Racial profiling, that's the biggest part. That's what's legislatively required. We did our racial profiling report. There's 9,776 stops. Nothing out of the ordinary with it. We've done an analysis by demographic. Obviously, I don't know why, but males usually have 2/3 of the traffic stops, maybe the driving patterns. But we find that as far as ethnicity or racial stops, there was nothing alarming that just jumped right out. Police training. We actually participate in the Temple Police Department, the Temple College Academy, and we do 20% of the total instructions when we went down and looked at the hours. As you can see, some of our instructors there, we have a large, rank, different ranks and stuff involved in that. It is kind of it's tough because with the downward trend in recruitment and retention, the last couple of years, they've been running as many as 3 academies. We still participate, but what we see is we're getting a better quality of candidate coming out through that academy because we're actually going to put our fingerprints on people before they get there. So we can address things like customer service, empathy, weapons. We actually have the regional range, so we do a lot of the firearms and stuff in-house, and we're seeing a better quality candidate coming through there. So they cap the sizes about 24. So like I said, they run about 3 a month, but it's something that we really think it's important to continue that partnership with our surrounding agencies and Temple College, because we're seeing really good people. As you probably heard, we just recently had a test, a civil service test. We had about a little over 120 people sign up, I believe. And we know it usually happens. Not everybody shows up because they couldn't get off. We open it for a couple months. about 72, 73 people actually showed up for the test. I think we're down to 52 or 53 actually on the test after the test was over and the row was over. So to have 50 something people to choose 2 or 3 slots is just an amazing position to be in. Unfortunately, we don't have any certified out of that group, but that being said, we'll be able to send to the academy and be able to train them up right. So sometimes fresh is not bad habits. So we're glad to see that. I really got to give a shout out to Victim Services. If y'all have never met Mary DeVille, you're missing out. It's a treat. She's got a heart for victims. This girl has been a godsend. She's addressed 622 victims, made 2,400 contacts. She has come up with so many different ideas to help victims in there. One of the things we started was a 911 phone bank, which we take leftover phones, things that come they come out of evidence lost or we can't find the owner or whatever. They'll wipe them clean. They'll send us a whole fresh bank. We got like 10 prepaid and then 10 that you can either hook up. We've already given some phones out. She started the new Victims Volunteers. So she's actually getting people that can call victims and make phone calls. She was one of the first people to sit there and say, is there some things that we can do to partner with some special needs folks? So we've got some volunteers that have special needs that just come in and they do a few things around the station. And the big thing was with Mr. Arias, if y'all remember, right around last year when Mr. Arias, he'd come from Mexico, he was living with his family in the Miller Heights area, and he roamed off and he wandered around and he ended up passing away, and it took us days to find him. But his family has been so supportive with it. So they helped translate some of the materials into Spanish and stuff, and really been an advocate for the Take Me Home program. And what it is we've got 18 customers that are challenged, whether it be Alzheimer's, dementia, autism, and we get that information. So if we find people and we can just look them up by Hispanic male, age, look at the spreadsheet. Okay, this isn't pull up a picture. We know where they go. We can take them home. That kind of goes in conjunction with the Are You Okay? Y'all been here long enough to know with the Are You Okay program. We have a lot of success with that. 17 saves so far, ties right into Silver Santa, and Silver Santa this year was phenomenal. We actually partnered with Delta program with BISD, and it really was Santa's workshop. These kids came over here and what normally takes about 3 days with some of our other volunteers, they got done about an hour and a half. I mean, and it was lickety split. I was impressed. And then some of them even come back. Some of the Delta kids have come back to volunteer around the police department too. Giving out a lot of rewards and recognitions. We continue with the Officer of the Quarter, Officer of the Year, civilian employees. And I did like to point out the Deputy Chief Geary actually got the Les Hallbauer Award this year for his dedicated service. Really instrumental in a lot of innovative ideas. So you see a lot of gray hair up here. They come in and say, hey, we found some new software that's going to save some time, effort, and energy. They give me the presentation. I'm like, hey, let's see if we can get it. So they really are a valuable asset. And then just the pictures of different things we've done. Coffee with a Cop this year actually fell on my birthday. So it was turned out pretty good. It was a pretty good celebration. Somebody finally bought me a cake. McDonald's did. So National Night Out, Silver Santa. We started Pups on Patrol. That actually worked out really well because we did one. We're going to start doing it when the weather starts warming up because my dogs are really temperamental. But just really getting out there. And what was really nice, if you see the bottom one is Rooks on Main. That one there was really huge because it brought a lot of our team together and stuff. And it was a good chance to donate some food to some charity and stuff. So with that, I'd just leave you with any questions you might have or.
I just want to congratulate you on a great year. There have been days when we, council members have gotten multiple complaints about policing because it is a very difficult, and we appreciate the way that your officers and your entire staff have, and Chief Ellis really got us going in the right track, and y'all have maintained that, and I'm very appreciative personally. I do have one question. I have no idea what the red dot technology is.
So red dot basically it mounts on the top of the firearm, and it's basically a central sighting system. So when you raise the weapon, the red dot will align with the target. And as long as that red dot, it's almost like fixed sights, except for it's a holographic red dot in the middle of it. And it comes in different types of, visual. It can be a round circle with a dot or just a dot. Okay. But as you bring that dot up and you aim it at your target, and it helps you acquire the target much faster.
Okay. Well, again, congratulations.
Thank
and
you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Chief, congratulations, and what a great little booklet you have that's put together. And the thing that sticks out to me is that, less than right at 9% of your expense or cost is administrative cost, and everything else is patrol, special operations, code compliance. And so there's not a whole lot of fat over there. But in conjunction with that, your community outreach, your relationship with the school district is just impressive as all get out. And I hear your compassion in your voice, and to hear that 70% of tickets result in a warning just makes me feel like you guys are doing the right thing, and we greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Chief, part of that, I think, is demonstrated by the number of folks, candidates you've got coming. I know we've got folks, Belton homeboys, that are applying and competing there to get on your force. How many losses how's our churn rate? Are we holding on to the ones we've got?
Right now we have 2 openings, and we'll have a third one, which one to Temple, just their process goes. But we once we in process the 15 or 16 last year that kind of went through with Gene was transitioning out, we had like 5 in the academy. We had a really good run there where Sean and Pedro over there in Killeen and stuff, they were all sitting there talking about, like, I've got 6 vacancies. Obviously we'll say, hey, we're fully staffed, but you never say fully staffed, because it's like a river.
Sure. How about Bell Oaks? I know that's our highest call location, and I know there's been a lot of good stuff going on over there. How's that going?
Well, we recently had an event over there the other day.
Yeah, we sure did.
That was it was definitely a unique situation, but we had real rapid response. We were able to make some arrests fairly quickly in that. Then we forwarded it through to prosecution. We let the district attorney figure out what charges they're gonna file. It's still not a done deal. We're still looking at more charges being filed. But the overall call volume, it has decreased as far as numbers. We still patrol the area quite heavily with, every once in a while we'll find some criminal trespass going through there. It's one of those things that we still have to continue to massage that. I think that with the future plans, the city is going in with the community involvement with the Miller Heights, that is just going to be dramatic, because
I agree.
I already envision being able to put like a golf cart or a mule over there, put a couple officers in there, pass out some stickers, coloring books, bring in some of those kids in there, maybe, if they can set up basketball goals or something, just spend some time with those kids and stuff. And that's the thing is, there might be a generation in there that they just want to continue getting in trouble, but if we can touch their kids, we'll get there.
Good. Thank you, Chief. Excellent report. Well done. to
Anything
all.
else?
I would just kind of echo what the other folks have said. I think that it's, and it's obviously not an accident that we have such low crime rates in our community, because of the community partnerships, the empathy that you talked about, the relationships that your officers have with our citizens. And so I think that's really impressive. It's a great focus. I think that it's made an impact in our community, and appreciate all you guys and the work that your men and women do.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can't add any praise to anything they've all already said. So I do have a couple questions.
Mm-hmm.
Reason for stop: vehicle traffic violation and violation of traffic law. What's the difference?
Not much, just the way that it's in the citation book.
Got it. And then second, if you need a bunch of kids for your kiddo card program, you know where to find us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions, but I'll give the comment. So one of the privileges that I have is when we have customer service awards internal for, we started this some years ago to really make sure that the city reflects the customer service the citizens want. And so we started, instead of punishing people for not doing it right, we reward people who do it right. And they set a good example. And so I get to go to different places. I think the police department, I've gotten to know that. I'm almost needing my own badge. We're there on a regular basis because your people do it well and set a good example. So again, kudos to you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you for everything you guys have done. The 2 questions and / comments I have. One is on the traffic fatalities. You said 3 with an asterisk. One was like we assisted, but can you speak to what, I mean, general cause of those? The reason I'm asking, because I'm on the whole K-Tempo and they've got their tasked with designing roads that are safer. And then we count the number of people that are thing, and somebody else says, well, it's speeding or distracted driving. Well, we're all counting things, but nobody's moving in to say, well, this is what the root cause was, and here's what we could do about it. Is it enforcement? Is it better design? And so I'm just curious for those three, and I don't know if you know, you don't have to tell me now if you don't know. I'm just curious about what those were.
I don't know specifically, but I know that like when it's a road design issue, usually it's pretty apparent. Like when it was raining and the trucks were sliding off of 35, that's usually a given. But if it's a long straightaway,
I'll follow up afterwards. Just kind of curious about that. The other one is you mentioned about the sexual assaults going up because we have a couple of facilities that can happen. Is there a way that we can delineate? Here's this area and here's the rest of Belton, because you could have, let's say, high population in those areas and it'd skew your numbers for a year. You could have low population in those facilities, it would skew it back down. And so there's not any really direct action that we're doing as a city other than working with that facility. But can we separate those? Just, I mean, there's going to be a total number, but I think it would be helpful for us to know that within this general population, are we trending or not? Because like you said, about half of that might have been like two.
Yeah, it was between 15 and 20 that were between those two facilities, but we could identify that. I can bring that to you directly, but for NIBR's purposes, it would actually just be the total number 42.
Yeah.
But then we could do like a slash.
Yeah, it'd be good like for us just to say, like in a little asterisk, right? That this is, and the final comment that I have that just is part of my old timers disease, I should have written it down. Oh yeah, the Bell Oaks. We're looking at doing some things over in Bell Oaks. We hope to have a positive impact in that area, but we're not getting, or at least we aren't getting data on where are our hotspots. Like of all these things, like if we were to break the city into 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 spots, or just 2, Bell Oaks and not Bell Oaks, whatever. I think it would be good for us again to take some of these numbers and associate them, because I think you guys probably have little dots on hotspots or something.
Yeah, we can go to the comm center and just say pull up a hotspot map really quickly.
Yeah.
So
that would be I think really good for us to know, because as we make investments in that area, if we see positive results, then it probably would help, at least politically, push for more investment into an area if we could show a direct correlation to better cause and effect. So anyway, just that was my last. I'm glad it didn't slip me.
A follow-up on.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Follow up on the sexual assault piece. The 2 treatment facilities, are these complaints coming from activities within the treatment facility, or are these events that have occurred that come to light as part of the treatment, or a mixture of all of the above?
Mixture. It's a mixture. That's total number of sexual assaults.
Okay.
Just curious, is there any update on the curfew program that we used to have and was so effective, but our legislators took that away from us? If we need to write a letter of support or do anything about that, I sure thought that was a very, very useful tool that we had.
I think our representative has expressed strong interest and support for that. And so hopefully we'll be able to get that opportunity back to establish that. We've had great success with the Youth Advisory Commission and with just, again, a positive patrol that is effective and kind of lays out the rules, but is, again, very effective. So again, we're hopeful. Representative Hicklin has expressed her support in that way. And I think it's pretty general.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. All right. Deputy Chief Wes will be giving our presentation for the Belton Fire Department 2024 annual report.
That's class.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Here to present our 2024 year-end report. First, I'd like to thank Chief Fontenot and Mr. Listy for letting me do this. Hopefully I don't screw it up.
We'll let you know if you did.
Thank you. Yes, please. So for 2024, we had a total of almost 2,500 incidents, which is a increase of about 34, which is we see every year pretty much an increase. If you see our fires, our structure fires, car fires, and wildland fires all went down. I'm gonna give that credit to our fire marshals and our fire prevention crew. Eric is back there. He comes up in a later slide here in a little bit. Our medical assist still sit as our number one call, which is at 990, and those stayed about the same. Calls per station. See, station 1 runs about a little over 500 more calls than station 2. Both of those also both increased, and our total apparatus runs is up. That number's wrong. It's actually 155. And then our dual truck responses are up 111. Our dual truck responses are our commercial fire alarms, structure fires, and our wrecks on I-14 and I-35. And then our response times, our turnout times, we're getting faster. So our turnout times are good. We're down about a minute, and our average response times are at 7:30, which is about 18% or 18 seconds faster than last year. So our incidents per box, we don't have the heat map noted for next year, but so box 1 continues to be our busiest box, which is the red shaded area there. Box 3 is the blue shaded area, with the south side is our second busiest. And then box 2 is the north side, which is the green. And then our out of district is going to be mainly our mutual aid call. And then 1435 is pretty explanatory. The west side is 14 and bottom is, or south side is 35. With our response time, so our busiest district box 1, district 1, which is the center downtown where station 1 is located. Is our busiest district. And then after that, you have box 3-1, which is where station 2 is located in that area. And then our next one is, 3-1, which there's not a station like about where the jail is our second busiest district, that area. And then 2-1, which is where station 2's district is.
So the blue is the dark blue southwest side, or the
Yeah, the
light
dark blue
blues?
southwest. Wait, I know how to draw.
Okay.
They show me
So
that.
is the red and the blue there primarily I-35, I-14 calls, or not?
A lot
specific
of
to-
them are actually the jail with the new construction they have down in that
gotcha.
area
Okay,
and things like
gotcha.
that in that area. Actually, it will, some of the 35, so the merge, you see that's not in 35 or 14, so it kind of depends on which lane that hits in and which district it
Okay,
is.
gotcha.
The call generates, or the merge generates a lot of calls, you know. If it looks like it's gonna rain, people are gonna start crashing, even if it's not wet.
Yeah. You're getting ready.
Yeah. Our fire marshal's office, we have a big increase mainly in here in our in-service inspections. That's our annual business inspections that that we try to do for every business every year. And I attribute that to, again, our fire marshal's office and our deputy fire marshal, who had his whole first full year this last year. So you see, we did, we didn't do hardly any, or not many in 2023, but a whole bunch of them in 24. Our plan reviews and certificate occupancies are down, mainly because we do those mainly on new commercial construction, and that's been down across the city. So our training preparedness, I'd like to thank PD for giving us that cool training prop that we're using there on that. But overall, our department did over almost 2,500 hours in continuing CE hours, 164 in advanced skills hours. That's gonna be like your boat operator, high angle rescue and things like that, and 120 hours in advanced CEs for like fire officer, fire instructor, and higher certification. A lot of conferences and workshops we go to, the kind of the main ones that we hit every year. And then every member has at least over 80 hours of training per year, and the state only requires 20. So we're well over on that on our annual hours. Some of the new additions. So we have the antique fire truck. It looks a lot different in this picture now. It is at Central Station. It's going to be down there for a while we have an empty bay. It is all shined up, got some new headlights. It looks a lot better. So I would stop by and look at it. It looks a lot different than this picture. While you're there, check out the gym. Station 1 and Station 2, we added gyms. We enclosed the porch, or the back porch at Station 1, and then at Station 2 built a whole new building and added some storage there also. We put a lot of stuff in there and making some changes daily, adding things, some small things. It was real good, getting those gyms out of the back of the station. We also ordered a new ladder truck, and it should be here between 3 and 4 years. So I think July 28 is about maybe the soonest it could be here. As I mentioned, we have or changing the fire marshal's office. Captain Hinkleman looks a lot better with the hat on back there than he does in that picture. We also have a shift. We hired a guy last February, and he just came off probation. So since I can remember, this is the first time we've been 100% staff and have no probationary people on board. So
Congratulations.
that's been on 23 years. The first time I remember that. Yeah. Then we have our community engagement. We're up 18 events overall. If you look at the people that we actually encountered, it's almost 5,500 people that we have encountered over the last year during doing public education events and PR events. And that's adults, children, that's everything from career fairs to station tours to fire safety week. We also did a CERT training course. We had 29 students this year. Over the last 4, we've had 118, and those are be starting up in on Thursdays in September and October. So if y'all are interested, watch our social media, or see Chief may hit you up to get involved in that. So our Belton CERT. So if you remember, we had Belton Fire Corps for a while, then we had Citizen Corps. So now we've all kind of just put it into CERT. And so by doing that, we still have the kind of the Fire Corps aspect where they do the firefighter rehab, fire prevention education, some community outreach. You see them, they've been more, I guess, out now that we're utilizing our tents. They've set up the first aid station at Christmas on the Chisholm Trail and a few other events. And then they also, on the CERT members, they also, help with disaster response. They got some specialized training such as, animal rescue and donation management if we ever need them, and hopefully we don't. That stays in Temple, hopefully. Currently, we have 13 active members that have logged over 44 or almost 4,500 hours. And here's a picture of a reverse view of the great American eclipse. So if you have any questions, I kind of went through that pretty quick, but I can answer.
We appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any comments or questions?
I'll fire it off.
Fire it off.
Props props to
Turn the
you
lights
guys
on.
for zero turnover and no probationary. I mean, I wasn't on council when that was a big thing, but so my predecessors and you guys, fantastic job. I mean, from what you hear in the community to now is just night and day difference.
Big changes over the last 5
Yeah.
years.
My comments, I mean, everything here looks good, fluid flows. Is it worth considering making I-14, I-35 their own box all the way through? When we talk about congruency of numbers and actually kind of seeing
We definitely could.
what, that's just a thought. I don't have to have answers, but, and then my third comment, just, we've touched on this before, the old retired Scorpion truck, a TxDOT vehicle with the crash barriers on the back, with lead times, and we know I-35 construction's coming, and we have, I'll call it another super highway probably on the horizon on Loop 121 and areas where it could be utilized, not just you guys, but with PD, potentially even Public Works, things like that. I think it's probably a real conversation at some point. I mean, a 4-year lead time on a fire truck, if you get hit,
It's definitely something we've been looking at.
Yeah.
And really recently, we've been looking at it. So, yeah, there are options we're looking at.
Budget consideration.
For sure.
This
Yeah,
next
for
time.
sure.
It's a good insurance policy, I think.
Yep.
Yes.
Not only that equipment, but for life too. I mean,
Yeah.
First and foremost, life. So.
I'll add general kudos. I mean, this all sounds fantastic. And then a personal note, we got a visit at our office on a little encouragement to make our office a little more user friendly for somebody who's trying to get out during a fire. And so that whole process was very friendly, educational, professional, and so it was a really good experience, and our folks didn't feel intimidated or anything like that. So it was
Yeah, that group, the fire marshal's office, I mean, they're really, close your ear, the unsung heroes, because you really don't know how many people they're saving, because they are fixing things like that, exits, finding, fire sprinkler systems that aren't working, things like that. So, we really don't know how much difference they're making. So, like I said, that's why our reduction in fires, we're gonna give them the credit for it.
It's great. Good.
Thanks. You guys are doing great. We really appreciate it. It has been a big turnaround. It's so refreshing to hear all the good news.
Thank you.
Yeah, and kudos to Chief Fontenot and the community involvement, because that certainly increased, and I think it helps everyone. And I'm really glad that we went ahead with the change in the schedule. That seems to have been a major contributor to the positive attitude that we've got with the fire department. So keep up the good work, Chief. We appreciate it. May have to push that fire truck to the parade, but that's okay.
Maybe.
Well, good thing it's mostly downhill.
Good chunk is
We'll just,
downhill.
right there, and park it in
That's it.
the town square. No, good.
Congrats, great year.
Yeah, again, thank you guys. Get to see you guys too on those customer service awards. Again, our first responders usually are highly praised in our community. So thank you for everything you guys have done. And for all the city staff. So Brandon Bozon works with me now, and he's been working over in the old county building, and I think he's been working with the fire marshal and stuff to make sure this new building is good. So he's been out there today with a caulk gun working on carpet. So I thought, would like to know he's not there with a tie and a spreadsheet. He's with a caulk gun and messed up hair. It's pretty awesome. So he finally got his place. He'll be coming back here pretty soon. All right. All right. That's all I have. Any other last comments or questions before we adjourn?
You did a great job.
Yeah, great job.
Well done.
All right, please stand adjourned.
Well done, Mayor.
Well, fun, huh?